Today we celebrate the fourth Sunday of Easter. Today has been traditionally known in our church as Good Shepherd Sunday. I then will pray the gospel according to John. And as we oftentimes know that the gospel speaks to us, God revealing himself to us, let us maybe consider the word or think about the phrase that captures our attention. Jesus said, "Amen, amen, I say to you, whoever does not enter a sheepfold through the gate but climbs over elsewhere is a thief and a robber. But whoever enters through the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens it for him, and the sheep hear his voice, as the shepherd calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has driven out all his own, he walks ahead of them. And the sheep follow him because they recognize his voice. But they will not follow a stranger. They will run away from him because they do not recognize the voice of strangers." Although Jesus used this figure of speech, the Pharisees did not realize what he was trying to tell them. So Jesus said again, "Amen, amen, I say to you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. A thief comes only to steal and slaughter and destroy. I came so that they might have life and have it more abundantly." The gospel of the Lord. This gospel of the Lord is a gospel that we especially need to hear during this global health crisis, this pandemic. It is easy because of the fact that as we maybe separate ourselves for health concerns and health reasons from one another, for us to feel a little bit alienated, lonely. Obviously, we miss our faith community because at one time or another, in one way or another, whether we know it or not, our faith community just does that. It is a community. We are with others. We belong to one another. We ideally, hopefully, feel accepted by one another. And in that way, we are given the assurance that we are not alone. Jesus today, as shepherd, assures us that we are not alone. What we find, especially in the Old Testament, is that the sin which confronted so many people in so many different ways was the sin of mistrust. They did not trust God. Consequently, they found other ways to maybe overcome that mistrust. They chose many gods. And as they worshipped many gods, they quickly realized that all of that was a dead end. As shepherd, Jesus says simply, "I am the shepherd. You are my flock. Let me take care of you." In the midst of our alienation and loneliness, we are invited all the more to trust that God will take care of us. And even though we may have been lost, God will find us. Let us think about that. Let us think about it, especially in prayer. What really clues us in when we begin to question as to whether or not we trust in God? What is it that compromises our trust? But then maybe we need to go back to this gospel according to John, to reread it, to listen to the words of Jesus, even to pray it all the more completely and all the more totally. That it is the Lord who is shepherd, who takes care of us. Do we trust that? Do we trust that God at one time or another, in one way or another, will take care of us completely and totally in ways that we maybe would never have even imagined? God is here. As we sooner or later come back to pray together as a community of faith, maybe we will simply realize that all the more. Well, thanks be to God, we will. Today, this day, Good Shepherd Sunday, let us allow ourselves to come to know Jesus as the Good Shepherd. And let us all the more allow Jesus to shepherd us, especially as we lift up our very lives in prayer, trusting that God will be present to us, giving us all that we will need to continue to live God's life of faith here on earth. Make it a good Sunday, this Sunday, the day of the resurrection.